Kids, you have no idea what it is like to not be able to breathe underneath those masks from Halloween costumes in the 70s. No clue.
This is Mark Trudeau.
Pete Surignano.
This is Adam Ponce.
We are Carry On Band. And you're at the All Over the Place podcast where the fun sanity never ends.
Hello and welcome back to All Over the Place, the official podcast of Media Pub Live. I'm your host, Eric Provoznik, and we're here. Actually, I'm going to wait for Marty to come in and Jim. So let's get him in here right away. And Jim,
hey.
How are you? Oh, there we go.
I'm good. Happy holiday season.
Happy holiday season indeed. And Marty, all right.
Hello.
I have a recently purchased Bullet Frontier whiskey in my All Over the Place mug. Cheers, gentlemen, to December and holiday fun.
Cheers.
I've been told that the show is more fun when I'm getting liquored up. So I believe when we have Threefers, it's going to be a theme. Which leads us into, folks, not so subtly, we are doing a Threefer tonight. And tonight we are going to be keeping in the holiday season, obviously. But before we get to that, I have a very quick announcement or a show and tell. This came in the mail yesterday. There we go. Mark Daly's Devil's Arms, the vinyl. This is 20 of 208 limited edition on the Devil's Arms. So Mark Daly and the Ravens, Mark and One Opportunity Records, thank you so much for getting that to me. Merry Christmas to me a little early. And folks, be sure you check out Mark Daly and the Ravens over at Spotify. They've got all the new videos going on right now over at YouTube and Apple as well. Just go check out Mark Daly and the Ravens. Good stuff, Devil's Arms, new album. And as we learned when Mark was with us last, a new album coming next year. I love it. Tour, record. Have a little fun with the family back in Ireland. Tour, record. Love the cycle. Mark's doing it like the good old days. So there's some slancha to Mark Daly and the Ravens.
Oh, one more? All righty.
Slancha.
Yeah, twist your arm some more, please. But
Slancha, isn't that Beyonce's sister?
Perhaps. I don't know. I'm doing my best to keep it Irish. But we are doing a Threefer tonight. But I again want to thank everybody. We are growing so much, and more subscribers this week over at YouTube and Spotify. More listeners, more viewers. Thank you so much, folks. As we head into 2025, can't thank you enough. So please keep liking, sharing, subscribing. And we got more great guests coming, and in the coming weeks. There's our last Threefer for a while. We've got some guests coming in, courtesy the fine folks over at Chipster PR. But for now, we're doing a Threefer that I keep teasing but don't get to. Tonight we are doing, in the holiday season, our three freight. The liquor's coursing through my veins already, so I better squelch.
It works.
You better drink more?
Yeah, no shit. But three favorite Christmas presents that we got when we were kids. And the plus one, it's the sad trombone. Can somebody give me a sad trombone?
Womp, 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 womp.
For the one present that we wanted but just didn't get. So we're going to kick it off, though, with the ones that we did get. And Marty, since you've been enjoying more Christmases than the rest of us, again, that's the liquor talking. Sorry, my friend. So we're going to start with you. What was your number 3 favorite Christmas present growing up?
Number 3, it was G.I. Joe, the big one, with the Kung Fu grip. He had the buzzed head, the cool beard. He was awesome. I loved that. He also had a few buddies that went with him. There was another guy named Big Jim, kind of a spin-off, but Big Jim was not as cool. G.I. Joe was. Oh, it was excellent. Loved that thing. And there was I had the Jeep and a few other things to go with it. Love. I'd go play with the neighbors. We'd have a little mission going around in the neighborhood or through the backyard or whatever with our G.I. Joes. Just great fun in the East LA area for three little kids who had no idea we were broke. We didn't know. Awesome.
That, again, you're kids. You don't care. You don't know what's going on. Are you having fun? That's what matters. And there you have it.
So. Everybody in my neighborhood was broke, so nobody knew we had no idea.
There you go. Were you having fun?
All the time.
There you go. So poor schmore, whatever. So G.I. Joe Kung Fu grip. Love it. Jim, we now go to you for your number 3.
Okay, my number 3 is also an action figure. It is B.A. Baracus from A-Team. Which was like my favorite show as a kid, or maybe neck and neck with MacGyver. But love that show. We watched it as a family. And Mr. T, B.A. Baracus, absolutely my favorite character on that show. So loved that. That was by far my favorite action figure I ever had. Played with him all the time. Somehow managed to not lose him like I did most of my action figures. And my dad, who also loved the show. He also got an action figure of Howlin' Mad Murdoch from the show because that was his favorite character.
I have a question, Jim. So I was a junior high-ish for that. It was also one of my favorite shows. That Dukes of Hazzard, but I was junior high-ish for that, so I didn't have the toys. Were they? Right. Had they shrunk by then, or were the action figures still big?
They were small. It was a small one.
Okay. So like the more modern G.I. Joe.
I mean, they had the bigger ones, but the small ones are the ones we got. So, but a lot of fun. I always liked Mr. T's character on that show. He was kind of like a. I mean, he was the toughest guy in the world, but he was also kind of a big man child. He's always crying about going on a plane. I don't like going on planes either, so relatable. And just a fun character as a kid, and of course, Mr. T was iconic for kids in my generation. He was everywhere. He was in all the cartoons. He was always showing up at the cartoons saying, "Hey, don't do drugs," that kind of thing. What's that?
WrestleMania.
Yep, absolutely. So that was that's my number 3.
Well, Jim, you'll appreciate this. Mr. T, at the height of the popularity of that show, maybe at the height, 1980, we hadn't moved to Warren yet, or from Warren to Toledo. So I'm going to say maybe 83, had to been 83, 84. But Mr. T was a part owner in the True Value hardware stores. So he came out to our little burg in Warren. We had a big True Value opening. And this would have been 83, now I think about it, because afterward, we went to the recently opened video store that you started renting videotapes, a big thing at the time, new phenomenon. And we rented Rocky 3 that day. Took that home to watch. Or rewatch it. So but Mr. T came. He was at the True Value and just gentle giant up there. And he's like, everyone's going crazy. We had Mr. T in our little suburb of Warren, Ohio, or Howland, Ohio, technically, the even smaller suburb. And he's like, "Ooh, God, chill out. Got to stay in school. Got to get good grades. Shh. And he's trying to quiet people down. And that was the site of my first celebrity imitation. And for a white boy from the suburbs, I went with a "Shut up, fools!" And he looked over my. He's like, "Thank you." Acknowledged by Mr. T because it worked. Somehow it worked. But
I thought Joe Paterno saying "hey" to me from about 80 yards away was the highlight of celebrity. That is far superior.
Oh, I don't know. Joe was the man. That picture's up here in the new place.
And he also said "hey" in my general direction.
There you go. Hey, as a Penn Stater, that's something. But that's a huge thing. But and I always forget my celebrity, because I always think of Hollywood when I think of my celebrity encounters. But I had one when I was in Warren with Mr. T. Shh, chill out, boy. Stay in school. And they gave us posters. Everyone's coming up. All the kids, stay in school. Mr. T. I love that one. And I was going to kick this one a little bit higher, but in honor of all of us, we're going to have the first round for all of us is going to be action figures. And for me, it would be and it was a real size one, just like Barty's with the G.I. Joe, but it was a $6 million man with the viewfinder in the eye.
Oh, yeah.
And Marty's old enough to know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
And that one, $6 million man was the shit. Loved that show. Lee Majors. I loved him from The Big Valley. Don't know why I watched it. Oh, my parents watched that show. That's probably why I watched it. But he was the man. My first name is Steven, so Colonel Steve Austin. I always got the connection with that, very loose connection. Don't get me wrong, but so that was fun, and to get that, and it was one of those things where Santa screwed up, and I had to have been 6 years old, right? Yeah, we were in the old house of Warren, and open all the presents, and then my mom looks at my dad, and my dad looks at my mom and says, "What did Santa do? Eric had another one. Where is it? Do you know where it is?" So my brother and I, we continue to play with our toys, and Santa's little helper, number 1 or number 2, I think my dad went to find him. It was like, then all of a sudden I get to rip into, as my last present into that particular Christmas, and I was off the wall with the Colonel Steve Austin, $6 Million Man. That is my number 3 favorite present as a kid.
I used to love the way he would say, "Jamie." And then he had Oscar Goldman. Oh, what a show! Yeah, that's a great toy, and you could look through the back of his head through his bionic eye.
Yep. You could take the little rubber pieces off of the arm, and you saw the circuitry in his arm. Oh yeah, good times. The 70s.
What a toy!
All right, well, Marty, maybe yours is from the 70s, maybe yours is from the early 80s. I don't know, but we're switching to you for your number 2 pick.
All right, so my number 2 is iconic, and many people would relate to this one. It's not a stretch or anything. It's the Evel Knievel stunt bike. That thing, oh my God! So I was already riding dirt bikes. Yeah, I was already riding. I had a mini bike anyway, and I would try and do jumps and different little things. I'd set stuff up, and it would break when I ran over it. But I was trying to do stunts like Evel Knievel. I idolized that guy. And matter of fact, that motorcycle right there is going to be built into a semi-replica of that motorcycle that you jumped, the XR7.
With all the red, white, and blue, the whole shebang, bang?
Yeah, I'm not going to do all that. I'm not going to do all that, but it's going to be in the style of that. So anyway, and then when the toy came out, I had to have that. And as I mentioned in the previous one, we were kind of broke. Well, my mom always made sure, or my dad, but mostly my mom made sure that I had at least one cool gift. You know, she would save up to make sure I got the one big thing I wanted. And she came through that year, man. There was a couple other kids that had them, and then we would just go out and play for hours. We'd just making jumps and having little competitions of who could do the longest jump or the cleanest landing or whatever. And that thing was great. You wound them up. The
most flips. Oh yeah.
Everybody's familiar with the toy. Yeah. So that thing was just so much, many dozens and hundreds of hours of fun from one simple little thing. It did just one thing. It was fantastic. Love it.
It clearly was a progression into the beast you have behind you right now.
Yes. Thing 1 and thing 2. And I'm not sure what got me on the whiskey, but I don't know. That's kind of where
I believe I inspired the whiskey tonight, Marty.
Tonight, for sure. Yes, for sure. But so that's just so much fun. I just have all these memories of all the kids and kids that didn't have they didn't have them. They would just hang around and cheer for the thing to jump, and like it was just a cool toy that even if you didn't have one, you could enjoy it. So that was my number 2.
Number 2. All right, Jim, to you for your second pick this evening.
Okay, my number 2. So when I was a young kid, I always wanted a puppy, like a lot of little kids do. And we had a family dog, a big fluffy Malamute, awesome dog, but he wasn't, mine. He was a family dog. So and it wasn't until I was a lot older I was able to get a dog of my own. But my folks did buy me a pound puppy, stuffed animal, when I was young, and they are the most adorable stuffed animal in the world, in my opinion. These little puppies, like floppy ears, big droopy face, puppy dog eyes, just most adorable things ever. And that was by far my favorite stuffed animal. I didn't have a lot of them when I was a kid, but of the ones I had, that was by far my favorite. And would take it to bed with me every night. When I got to the age where I started getting rid of my stuffed animals, I held on to that one for a long time, and he was the last one I got rid of because it was like having a pet of my own. So
how do you get rid of a pound puppy since it's so much like a pet?
How do you what?
How do you get rid of it? You just pitch it.
Marty, you take it out like Sounder, man. You got to put it down.
Yeah, we had to take it out and shoot it. It sucked, but
It happens.
just couldn't afford to feed it anymore. What can I say?
It wasn't sent to a friend's farm upstate. No.
Yeah.
Sent
So my
back.
wife's about your age, and she has a few of them that we carry around from storage to storage. But she has a few of them.
I don't blame her for still having it.
Yeah, I don't either. It's it's nostalgia. I wish I still had some of my shit, but I'm a boy and I just break it and throw it away. So
yeah, I think everything I owned from like age 13 and below is gone by the wayside now. But if I'd had my choice, I absolutely would still have it, even if it was just sitting in a box somewhere. But
yeah, very cool.
And Jim, help me out, because right now I can't. It's not the liquor, folks. It's bad memory with. Of
course
Pound Puppy. Because I can't think of the Pound Puppies theme song going, but I'm singing it in the melody of Hot Pockets, like Pound Puppies.
I don't remember the theme song.
I might have to sneak that in. There will be some copyright issues, but during editing, I might find the audio clip for that just to help us right now. And so, yeah, but. So let's just sit back and smile right now, because we're going to have the audio for that playing right now. That's what it was. Oh, yeah, we'll just have it.
Yeah,
there it is. Pound Puppies, Hot Pockets.
Sorry to abandon the show, but I needed.
Marty's picking up a little bit there. Nice. So for my second pick, I was not a BMX guy, but I just went immediately in. I had a beach cruiser kind of thing with the big handlebars that my grandfather got. I went from the big wheel to this amazing toy, and that was the Green Machine. And for those who don't know, I see Marty giving the yes. So the Green Machine, you sat down on it, you're kind of laid back in it. It was a full ride, and you had your little steering pedals on the side, and it was a souped up Big Mac. Big Mac, you just had the one brake on the side, you did spin outs, but with the Green Machine, you're sitting down, you're pedaling long ways on it, and then you took your two different. They were like long paddle.
They were like levers.
Levers. Thank you, Marty. I was searching for the word, and Marty's tech guy, and
rear steering, by the way, rear steering.
Yes, and the Green Machine, as Marty will attest to, it was the shit. You just rode around. Your spin outs were cooler from the big wheel.
Yeah,
it was like you graduated, but then you got on your 10-speed, or if you're Dave Besselman in my neighborhood, the BMX.
Yeah, and I remember that thing being very squirrely and definitely hard to ride, but it was so much fun.
Yeah, but that's my number 2 pick, the Green Machine. Marty's shoe.
Being attacked.
All right. Well, make sure to stay away from your liquor. Don't let it get your liquor.
Okay. So is it to me?
No, you're number 3. Or if you have any honorable mentions, now's the time. Shoot.
Yeah, I do. So honorable mention number 1 is the Mattel. I think it was called Action Football. It was a little handheld.
Yeah.
I had the Coleco one, and I also had the Coleco head-to-head one, but I never got the Mattel one. And for some reason, the Mattel one was cooler. I'm not exactly sure why. They were a little different, but it was the same concept. Little blips that you moved around. Very fun, man. That was in class. You would play your mini football game. It was like kids texting in class now. It was something you hid on your lap while you were pretending to pay attention, and so that was a lot of fun.
But you had to be careful and remember to put the sound down, otherwise your teacher would hear the blip 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 blip.
Yes.
Blip.
Yeah. So that was fun, and then the next thing is a big one, and if it weren't for the number 1, this would have been number 1, but I didn't want to put it in the number 2 spot. So Atari 2600. I got that in I got it, I guess, Christmas of 78, I guess. My 7th grade year. And oh my God, and a few other guys in the little squad there had them. 2600 was revolutionary. It was the first thing after Pong, and it was fantastic. 8-bit and really good. Really lots and lots of fun games. I'm sure Eric can agree.
Well, yes, I can agree, but I I should have a trivia with Eric ready to go. But do you remember what your first game was? Because I remember when we got ours, roughly the same time, 78, 79.
Space
But
Invaders.
do you remember the game that came with it, the cartridge that came with
Space
it?
Invaders.
Oh, you had Space Invaders. We had Combat in ours.
Oh,
yeah. Mine was Adventure.
Oh, with the big
Harry?
goofy dragon. Yeah.
Yeah, the Castle Adventure. That was a fun one.
I sucked at that game. I never.
Oh, I did too, but it was still fun.
We tried like hell. Who was the? There was the one guy in our neighborhood. I can't remember. It'll come to me right as we're ending the show, but he was the only one in our neighborhood who could solve that damn game. So we all went over to his house to watch him do it and tried to replicate it when we got home. But yeah, that no go.
This feels like we're going down a whole other show road, but I will.
I know, but so that's your number two.
Pitfall Harry.
Oh well, Pitfall Harry came. That was when Activision came around.
I think that was in television or Coleco.
No, that was Activision. Activision for the Atari. Yeah.
He would swing on the rope. All right, enough. Save it for another show.
Yeah, this is a rabbit hole we could go down with the game consoles. Yes.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I just remembered another honorable mention that I should have put at number 2. My Dogtown skateboard with Gullwing trucks and Sims wheels. Oh my god. Anyway, my number 1, and it's not even close. It is my Team Mongoose BMX bike. I loved that thing just slightly less than my dong. I freaking love that bike. I rode it everywhere. It took me everywhere. We rode it to the beach one time. And this is from the Inland Empire. I mean, it was like 20-something miles. What a vehicle. Oh my gosh. It was my first real freedom. Like I had a Stingray. I think I started riding a Stingray at 4 years old, I think. I'm not sure. That's what my mom says. And I had bikes, but junior high is that sweet spot where you're allowed to be gone all day and no checking in. You could just go. And man, we went. We were gone all the time. We were on those bikes nonstop. I had a squad of about 4 or 5 guys, and we all had BMX bikes, and we raced a little bit. But that wasn't really the thing. The thing was that we would just go terrorize neighborhoods and go travel to places. We could go to the movies. We could go anywhere we wanted. We didn't need to ride. We didn't care if it took an hour to ride there. We just ride. So much fun. Loved it. Team Mongoose, and it was fantastic. I loved that thing, and I really want another one, but yeah.
And did I hear you correctly, or maybe it's the liquid here? You loved it more than your dong? I hope so.
Just slightly less.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. All right.
At the time,
that's a rabbit hole we're not going to go down, folks.
Yeah, at the time, it was very close, I'll tell you.
We're trying to keep this a PG-13 show.
About 2 years later, it wasn't close at all, but at the time, it was very close.
Yeah. I'm going to avoid my follow-up joke then, Eric.
Thank you. Take it away.
But all right. I nicknamed it a mongoose. That's just a bad joke.
The goose. Oh boy. Again, folks, we're trying to keep this PG-13. So we're gonna shift it over to our angelic Jim Culver for his honorable mentions and his number 1.
Okay, so my honorable mention is gotta go with the Super Soaker. Me and my friends all had them when I was in high school, and we lived out in the sticks. So we would just junior high and high school, and we would just spend so much time just running around the property, attacking each other with these things, just shooting it out. And California heat was always hotter than hell, and great way to cool off, and we never got bored. All our parents had to do was just keep the water running so we could keep refilling, and we would entertain ourselves for hours on end. And it was a blast. So love my Super Soaker. Ton of fun. And but my number 1 has to be, I don't know if you guys even heard of this thing, but it was my favorite toy as a kid, as a very young kid. It was called a 2XL.
Oh my God, I definitely know that.
Okay, cool. A lot of people that I talked to,
because I do not. So please
explain. Yeah, there you go. A lot of people I've talked to have never heard of this thing. It was a little toy robot, but it didn't like walk around or anything. You would just keep it, and it would talk to you. and it had all these all these little programmed things in there that it would talk to you about. And I would just spend hours with this thing in my room, and it would tell you jokes. It would tell you facts. It would play music and encourage you to get up and exercise. It was almost like having a little robot buddy that would just entertain you, and it was so much fun. I absolutely loved this thing as a kid.
It was like Alexa before the government got involved.
Exactly. But completely G-rated.
Yeah, that was good pull there, Jim. That's a obscure but really, really, really good choice there.
And now, once you started describing it, I know exactly what you're talking about. Never had one, but had a couple of friends who had them. So yeah, that was a fun one.
2XL. I would have never remembered the name, but as soon as you said it, there was another one called Alfie, I think, or something. But the 2XL was the shit. That was
just in terms of bang for your buck with that thing. I mean, I got so much entertainment value out of that, and my parents got a break from me, and everybody won. So, that thing was a blast, though. I loved it. It was like 1982 or something. It was pre all of the technology we have now, where you can just give a kid an iPad or something and entertain him. There was nothing like that in the early 80s.
Yeah, and I remember it because my little brother had one, and he's about your age, and he had one, and I remember just screwing around with that thing. Even 82, I was in high school, but that was fantastic. I love that thing.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We had lots of little things like speak and spell and those kinds of things, but they all did one thing, and this thing gave you hours and hours of all kinds of different things you could do with it. And it was absolute blast. So had to go with that for my number one.
I do like that call. I like it.
Eric.
So to me, for my honorable mentions and my numero uno, and so my honorable mention, I'm just going to loop them all into one. The Star Wars toys, because my brother and I, more so me, because I read the comic books as well. But Star Wars just was everything to me as a kid. Once I came, I was 77. I was 7 years old. I remember my grandmother Betty got my brother Michael and I our first the figures, the Kenner figures. I had C-3PO, and Michael got Luke Skywalker, and then we just built our collections from there. I remember when the first Christmas present that we found before we found Santa's little workshop in my parents' closet. Michael was stumbling around there, and I'm not going to throw him under the bus. I was probably helping him look too, but Michael was the sneakier of the two of us. But he oh yes, there we go. But Michael found the Jawa Sandcrawler in my parents' closet.
Oh shit!
Yes, and remember the remote control?
Yeah.
Well, which wasn't it was a remote control, but it was still a wire that was connected. So it really wasn't a remote control. But the Jawa Sandcrawler was up and
oh, yes. Wow.
When I drop something, I still say whack like I'm talking Jawa.
How could I forget the Star Wars toys?
Star Wars goon. Let's see. And the Millennium Falcon was the shit. That Christmas, that may have been a shared toy with Michael and I, but because we both loved it so much, and my parents didn't want to have one over the other. But it was a replica, as best as you're going to get for 1979 or 80 when that one came out. It was a big deal, and you could take the top off of it, and just you had all the compartments there, like where they stowed everybody when they were hiding. I love that Marty has put that on. That is, you know what, Marty, you put that on. So I got to bring it. Yes, there it is. Yeah. And just very quickly, I once again want to thank Doug Dunkelbarger for gifting me with Darth Vader back there. And you know what? I'm going to bring Darth up to the front here. Hang on one second. This is live, folks. I apologize.
Things made for kids.
But Darth's going to be in the background now. All right. We're on the fly tonight, folks. There he is.
Look at that.
The Sith Lord has joined the show.
I got to fight both you guys.
I got one of those. It's in the house.
For irony. Take
Those
that.
are awesome.
Rest in peace, James Earl Jones.
Yeah.
But
Indeed.
Star Wars, and just every year, Michael and I would get a new. Those were our stocking stuffers. So we'd always have a new Star Wars figure. But that's honorable mention. But my number one is one of Marty's honorable mentions, and that is the Atari 2600. And video games have come so far. Obviously, we are almost 50 years removed from the Atari becoming the first home gaming system. Well, was it that, Jim, help me out? Was it the first home gaming system, or like
It was Pong.
Pong was the first one, but the 2600, I think, was the first took it to a whole nother level.
Unless the Commodore came out before that.
No, the Commodore came after.
Was it after? Okay.
Well,
Then it was.
Was the first cartridge-based. You had multiple games with one console.
And so there was that. It went the Atari 2600. Then I think Intellivision came next with George Plimpton as their spokesperson. With Intellivision football, it was the next level, and then Activision up the ante for the 2600 games, just different bit resolutions. And then came the Commodore 64. And my friend Art Connolly had that one. And Zaxxon beat my ass every time. That 3D shit threw me off. But the 2600, we were the first ones in the neighborhood to have it. As I mentioned on the show before, my dad, only 23 years older than I am, so he loved having the toys around the house. So when new games came out, I remember when Space Invaders came out, he got that at Sears on the way home from work. Came home, my brothers and I, we played along with him. And so we would trade cartridges at school, That's
awesome.
George Vallon had pole position. I remember we traded, I did Activision skiing for that one, or maybe it was Pitfall. But no, it was always cool having the new Star Wars. The new 2600 games, and we just had a great time with that. And Michael and I, we busted a few joysticks. So thank God my dad is an engineer, and he would grumble and grouse, but he would fix them, and so he wouldn't have to buy. God damn it, son of a bitch! Shit! God. Got to buy a new one. My dad hates when I do that imitation, but he knows I'm right. And we'll have to have my brother Mark on the show one time to do that one. He does it the best. But the 2600 was just all you could ask for as a 9-10-year-old kid, and just the new games coming out all the time. And Adventures sucked, but I was able to conquer the Raiders of the Lost Ark game.
Yeah.
Which came out, I think, in 83 or 84. That was another gift from Grammy Betty. My Grammy Betty kept up my rest in peace, G Betty. But we always had the coolest stuff at Christmas. So thank you, Mom, Dad, Grammy Betty, Grammy Phil, everybody.
Yeah. And quick aside, the reason that if I would have included motorcycles, they would have been 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
But I just left them out because it's not exactly a toy. I guess it is, but I left them. I would just say this motorcycle, then this motorcycle. And honorable mentions would be some motorcycles, and so I left them out. But I will say one thing that I forgot to bring up: Planet of the Apes action figures. I had the little city. I had all of the figures they had. I had every single part of it. It was a good Christmas. I had even Dr. Zaius. I had all of it.
Ooh, rock me, Dr. Zaius. Ooh, rock me, Dr. Zaius.
So,
less than 4 seconds. We will not get sued for copyright by The Simpsons on that one, or Falco.
Well, you were out of key anyway.
You change a couple of keywords. I think it's fine.
Yeah. But and another quick honorable mention for me, the Fisher-Price Viewmaster, where you plug the cartridge in the back.
Yeah.
Then you went in reverse. Yeah. So The Legend of Sleepy Hollow was a favorite one, and a lot of good Disney ones. You would go through and Goofy and all that stuff. And
I got like 20 honorable mentions, but
yeah, we could go on and on forever. But we're trying to stay concise. We always do our best here, folks. And but now we're going to go to our plus one, which is a toy that we never got, no matter how much we were on Santa's nice list. It just didn't happen. It was, like the cue the sad trombone. We didn't get it. Marty, we're going to keep the rotation the same. We're going to go to you first for your plus one. Ooh, I hope you got it as an adult. There we go.
So This is a little more modern, but the Halloween before the Christmas, I begged my mom to get me a Darth Vader costume, and she said sure. And she got me the little, she didn't buy it, but she wanted to get me the little, little plastic thing you can barely breathe, but there was a really nice one, and I think it was at Sears, a really nice one that had like a pull-on helmet and a cape, but it was expensive. And she was like, "I'm sorry, Mijo, we can't have that. It's too much." I never had it. I never got it. I never got to be Vader for Halloween. So that one stuck with me. It would have been cool. I said, "Come on, Mom, it'll be my Christmas gift. Come on." She couldn't do it. It wasn't in the cards. But my lovely wife found this at a thrift store and bought it for me because she knows how much I love it. And it's actually on the inside here. It has a little microphone, and there's a little speaker in this part. And it doesn't sound great, but it still works. And this thing is from, I'm going to guess, around 1982 or 3.
Well, let's see if I can spark some memories here for you, Marty.
I wouldn't get any closer. You get a copyright thing on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's already fade. I got to get new batteries for it. Thanks a lot there, Vader. But, and now he's gone. Get back in the picture. There you go.
Gotta have Darth there.
Yeah,
so I did get to be Darth Vader for Halloween once.
Oh.
When I was like, I don't know, 10 or 11, and went to a costume party dressed as Darth Vader, and some kid grabbed my cloak and pulled it and almost choked me out with it.
How's that for irony?
Yeah, I know the irony. But yeah, he grabbed me and pulled in that because there's a little strap you tie it around your neck, and he pulled so hard on it, it like went into my skin, and it was bleeding a little bit. I was like, okay, that didn't work out so well, but it was still a cool costume. But what do you think it says about human nature that kids that grow up seeing Star Wars, they all want to be Darth Vader instead of Luke or Han or Leia?
Oh no, I always want to be Han Solo.
Yeah, I was a Han.
Everybody loved Han Solo, but I mean, kids are like, I really want to be the murdering cyborg that chokes people out.
Oh yeah. Well, he was a bit of an anti-hero. He was just defending his position.
And there's C-3PO.
Yeah, I was a Han guy, but the costume was, it wasn't as recognizable. It wasn't, I was a little.
My mom actually pulled that off for me. I wish we had pictures from Halloween because my mom or my grandmother would always make the coolest costumes. Kids, you have no idea what it is like to not be able to breathe underneath those masks from Halloween costumes in the 70s. No clue. But of course, thank God, my mom and we never got those bot costumes. I just know that, trying them on, you couldn't breathe under those mothers. Heck no. Yeah. But, thank God my mom.
Good Lord.
It is technical difficulty after. See, this is like the Radio Free Fredonia days.
Sorry about that.
Technical difficulties all over the place. It's his fault. It's Darth fucking Vader's fault. The Sith Lord is screwing up our show.
Yeah, that's my.
Well, we love you, Darth. We love you. But yes, as we mentioned before we broke out there, everyone always wanted to be Darth Vader, but no, my mom made a Han Solo outfit, so that was cool one year.
Yeah, I remember I was the Tin Man one time from Wizard of Oz, and I had a funnel, and I just remember it was a lot of cardboard wrapped around me that my dad had spray painted silver, and then I had like black pants and a black shirt on, and then I just had like cardboard pieces, and they painted my face all silver with, I don't know, probably spray paint. I don't remember.
So did you have any allergic reactions like Buddy Ebsen did before he got replaced as the Tin Man?
No, I don't.
That's right, Jim. Trivia with Eric surfaces from time to time.
Yeah,
nice.
Buddy Ebsen. I like the guy they got.
Ray Bolger. That's right.
He
Did
was
a good job.
It scares me that I know that off the top of my head.
Yeah, that is good.
Oh, yeah, quick. Oh, wait, we're going to go to trivia with Jim. Let's see if you can pull it off. Who played the Cowardly Lion?
I have absolutely no idea.
Marty,
Correct.
to you.
I don't know.
Trivia with Eric. Bert Lahr. Lahr. Bert Lahr.
Okay.
Nice.
All right.
I don't know a lot of trivia for movies that were.
Folks. All this useless knowledge.
I don't know a lot of trivia about movies that are almost 100 years old, but
I'm
That's-
not going to take that as a slight to my slightly older than Jim age. We're going to move on.
Slightly?
Jim.
How old are you, Jim? That's
45.
interesting. Huh? What?
45.
Slightly? as the great, not late great, the great Abby Brown said, "Get the whole fuck out of here, Eric. You are not slightly older than him."
Excuse me. Much like your wife, we were born in the same decade. So shut it, old man.
You're slightly younger than me. You are
I'm slightly
much
younger than
older
you.
him.
But we were born in different decades. So fuck you, and fuck you. Who next? That's right. Jim Culver's next
Hey,
with his
Put
disappointment.
me in this. I didn't say a word.
All right, Jim.
With
We
what
talked
he
about
didn't get
this
for
earlier.
Christmas.
I
Jim,
gotta
you're
comb
plus
my
one.
hair.
Yeah, I know. You've got more hair than I do. Once
My hair's
again,
looking thin. I need
there's my middle finger. Kiss.
Man, he's going off the rails real quick.
I do believe we have found our bumper teasers for the shows.
I'm so terrifically old. By the way,
Jim,
no
to
dye.
you for your plus one.
No
My plus
dye
one.
in there. All right, go ahead.
Okay.
Back to the show.
So this is not a toy I ever asked for because I knew it was an impossibility, but I always wanted it. And as I mentioned on previous episodes of this show, as a kid, I spent so much time in arcades that I probably should have been paying rent there. But as a kid,
I understand
Yeah.
completely.
I can
Yeah.
relate.
my dream toy or my dream Christmas present was always an arcade game at home. And people, kids nowadays don't understand when you can go down to a Best Buy or an electronics store and just buy like an arcade game and bring it home for whatever it is, $100, $75. But back in the 80s, man, that was like rich people stuff.
Oh yeah.
Like the dad on Silver Spoons had arcade games in his house, and he was like filthy rich. So like that was the dream for kids of a certain age, So that was always like if I ever really made it financially, I'd know as a kid. This is how I thought as a kid. If I ever really made it, I'd know because I'd have arcade games in my house. And in the lot, I would have happily had a lot of them. The one that I loved most as a kid was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I spent so many quarters on that. I probably could have paid my way through college with all the quarters I spent on that.
You could have bought a console.
I probably could have, but yeah. So that would have been the dream if I could have ever dreamed of asking for that. I never would have, but yeah, that would have been amazing. But yeah, that was rich people shit. So, and when I got to college, we'd go to house parties, which was for me was incredibly awkward, but I still went because alcohol and girls and usual reasons. But they were just it was just a really awkward experience for me. But anyway, at one point I ended up at this house party for this guy. This guy I didn't even know, and I look over, and this is a college kid in living in a crappy rented house, mind you. But I look over, and what's sitting right there? Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the arcade game. And I just sauntered over there with my beer and just started playing that. And that's basically all I did that entire party. But you know what? For a minute there, it was like I was living the dream. I just pretended that was my place and that was my game and got to live it up. And closest I ever got to having one of my own, but yeah, it was pretty sweet to enjoy for the few drunken moments I had it.
Yeah.
Well, Jim, you have given me inspiration now that I'm back to solo living. At some point before the lease is up on this place, it's not going to be Darth Vader in the background. A Galaga machine is going to be sitting behind me.
Nice.
That was my dream. So I get it. And my friend Steve back in Pittsburgh, he has a Galaga console in his house. He got it for way cheap. It was like the cliche of it. You bought. I'll use myself as the cliche. My first car, my 1975 Malibu Classic, bought in 1986. My dad got that for $250, maybe $200 from a little old lady who only had 20,000 miles on it up in Michigan. So Steve bought this from some lady. It was like the circuit board was messed up on it. And Steve's a computer engineer. Yeah, he fixed that pretty quickly. So he's got the Galaga machine, and he souped it up. So it's the fast Galaga machine. So
yeah,
at some point this year, Single Eric is back, and Single Eric is going to remain single with a Galaga machine in his apartment.
We'll see. When you were saying that's how you knew you were rich if you had a game. And Eric, you will know when I feel like I'm rich because I will get you a Galaga game for Christmas.
Thank you, Marty. Thank you. We'll get it cheap from the guys up at Glitz or up at the Barcadium.
Glitch, yeah.
Glitch.
Yeah. That will be my signal that I have arrived, that I can buy Eric a Galaga machine.
Oh, better yet, we'll get it. We'll put it in yours and Nick's castle in New York, and we'll play it there.
There you go.
We'll fly out for Galaga weekends. That's when we know we have made it.
There you go. I would never buy one for myself because motorcycle. I can buy a motorcycle for that money, and I would just buy another motorcycle. But as a gift, you will know I've arrived when that's the gift you get.
Why, thank you. I appreciate that, my friend. But right now, we are going to go to Trivia with Eric. That's right. I created one for me now. And don't worry, Marty, I'll have one for you at some point, too. Don't worry. It'll be ready for all of us. But Trivia with Eric, another quiz for Jim, since you brought up earlier, Ricky Schroeder's father on Silver Spoons was played by...
I should know this. I don't know. You got me.
Joel Grey.
Joel Grey. Wait, not that Joel Grey. Different Joel Grey, right?
Different Joel. See, that's very good. Two Joel Greys. So yes, not the
brain on Jim.
Not the more theatrically trained Joel Grey. No, this is fun Joel Grey. Yes, very good. So yes, Ricky Schroeder, father played by Joel.
Yeah,
Grey.
I think the dad in Silver Spoons may have accidentally become like my goal in life, and not financially, but just kind of how he lived his life. It's like that wouldn't be too bad a way to live. And
wasn't he a toy tester?
He was. That was his excuse for having toys everywhere in his mansion. But I think they overestimated how much toy testers make. But it's Hollywood. But the movie Big did as well. You got these toy testers that are working in these giant skyscrapers, but an 80s kid can dream, But I think that guy may have ended up being my personal hero as a kid, even though I never quite matched his income level.
Well, you're still quite young.
And you know what? Eric screwed up, and God bless the fine internet here. I messed up. I combined things here. I was about to say who his girlfriend was played by, Erin Gray. It was Joel Huggins, not Joel Grey, not theater Joel Grey. Eric has ombudsmaned himself during the course of the show. Joel Huggins, Erin Gray. I combined worlds, and yes, folks, that was the extra liquor I got while Jim was giving his +1.
So you fact checked yourself, and you rolled it back.
Eric fucked up. That's right. Eric fucked up, but corrected myself. Falling on the sword, and just very quickly, Erin Gray.
I agree.
Yeah, who I first fell in love with is Wilma Deering on Buck Rogers in the 25th century, 24th century.
It's a nice uniform she had.
See, I'm not into skinny girls, but man, Erin Gray, kudos. But yeah, so their trivia with Eric gone awry, but trivia with Eric corrected himself.
All right, and top 3 skinny girls. Go.
Oh, Erin Gray, Twiggy, and oh God, why am I blanking now? She from Jennifer Garner.
Selma Blair.
Oh,
the chick from Pride and Prejudice, one of them. Can't remember.
Oh, yeah, her also in King Arthur. Yeah.
There we go. Yeah. Anyway, and then Gwen Stefani. I don't know.
Okay, Jim, your top 3 skinny girls. Go.
Sandra Bullock, Keira Knightley, and Julie
That's
Roberts.
the one, Keira Knightley.
Yeah, Keira Knightley. See, you guys overlap. Very good.
I'm saving it for my list.
She's very popular.
All right, very a threefer within a threefer. We're not going to get quicker than that, folks. But going to my plus one, and just let me single shot me here before removing myself. My number one will be something that, as a Pennsylvanian, it's kind of sad to say, but I didn't fire a gun until much later in life. But my brothers and I, we never got a BB gun growing up. That was verboten in the house. My mom said no way. And it wasn't just because you'll put an eye out with it, from Christmas Story. Yes, I grew up in Ohio, so Christmas Story, near and dear. But no BB gun. Buddy Moss and his brother Brian, they had one across the street. But my mom said, no way. We had cap guns, we had Nerf guns, but never had a BB gun, no matter how much I would
Holy shit.
The ads on the back of all my comic books. I would never get one. Oh wait, was it Marty? Help me out on this one as I go back. I seem to remember the ads because there's Remington shotguns, of course. Did Remington also make a BB gun?
Yeah, but the big ones were Crossman and Daisy.
There you go, Daisy. Yes. Nope. Those were not allowed in the Provosic household. No way. And which is embarrassing because as a Pennsylvanian, I have never gone deer hunting, and I've only fired a gun twice in my life. Once with that man who's on the far right of your screen right now, folks. Marty let me fire his shotgun. That was my first shotgun, and my God, that was fun.
Anytime, friend.
And Marty, please give my score to the folks who are watching. How was I?
I give him a B+.
People, I can deal with that. I would have dealt with a B-, but I took out a watermelon, folks. I took it out hard.
Yes. That first shot, you could see he was like, "Holy crap, that was something else." And then he settled in and fired that thing like a man.
Yes, my Pennsylvania roots show through. But a quick toast here to Tim Case, who is an archer, and Tim was he allowed me to learn how to fire a bow and arrow. So yes, I've never hunted in my life, but when I go hunting for the first time, it will be with a bow and arrow, like the news. Yeah, there are we got High West, we got Bullet in the house.
If you like firing a shotgun, come out here to Washington State. I'll take you goose hunting.
Oh, nice. Wait, would you take us back to the video game, which was on the ColecoVision? Duck Hunt.
Duck Hunt.
Oh yeah.
Duck Hunt. What the Nittany Lions tried to do last night, but fell just short. But still proud of my Nittany Lions. We're ready for the first round of the playoffs.
Duck Hunt was Nintendo.
Oh, it was Nintendo. Sorry, Duck Hunt was Nintendo. Yeah. Thank you.
And people who say that all dogs are great have never played Duck Hunt because that dog is evil.
Well, Darth Vader evil or Dr. Evil level evil?
More like that.
A little bit of both.
Okay. All right. Well, here we go. Help me out. I will give you, and folks, we're going to harken back to Star Wars very quickly. My scale of evil goes as such. Kim Jong, whichever Kim Jong Il, Un, whichever Muammar is in charge of what's going on in Iran, Nazis, Ewoks, Illinois Nazis. That's my scale of evil.
I knew you meant Ewoks.
Where does it fall? Where does this dog fall on the scale of evil?
Probably somewhere between Nazis and Illinois Nazis.
Okay, fair enough.
So you're telling me he's an Ewok?
He's more evil than an Ewok. I love it.
He's an Ewok at heart, and that's why.
And never forget, folks. We're gonna cut close again. We're not getting political, but you can't spell woke without Ewok.
Well,
that's your fun fact for the folks. Fun fact for the day, folks, right there. You can't spell woke without Ewok.
What about binary? You can do it in binary.
It's a lot of decimal. Folks, we're going down some rabbit holes tonight here on All Over the Place, but we must call an end to it before we have show part 3. There's enough I've got to edit on this thing. Woof. But Threefer, awesome one tonight, gang. We had our favorite Christmas presents growing up as kids, and the +1 that we never got, but we still have the opportunity. And Marty, I'm looking forward to the day where we are all successful enough to be playing Galaga in your castle in New York.
And I will pull a Tony Stark and be like, that man is playing Galaga.
Yes, I love it. So, folks, once again, I want to throw a shout out to the Vandaliers, Josh and company. I need to throw some extra love to Mark Daly and the Ravens without glare from the lights coming on here up for the TV. There we go. Mark Daly and the Ravens. Thank you so much for getting this album out to me. That's dropping the needle as soon as we're off the air here, off recording. Folks, we're nothing without you. We thank you so much for watching us or listening to us here on All Over the Place. Like, share, subscribe. Let's keep growing. 2025 is around the corner where we explode. And thanks to you. Thank you so much for listening and or watching All Over the Place. We'll be back real soon. Thanks so much. Take care.
Bye-bye.
All Over the Place, where the fun sanity never ends.